Hello, Warlords. Rodge here. Welcome to SAGA Thursday, the show all about the skirmish miniatures game from Studio Tomahawk. I'm joined this time by Andrew Bertelson. How's it going, Andrew?
Going real good, Rodge. How are you?
I'm good. So, folks have seen you on the channel just a few months ago talking about Fimbulwinter, but we got you back talking about the Irish battle board. And when was the last time you played the Irish? You played Normans just a few months ago.
Admittedly, it's been since about October since I played them last when I took them to a tournament in Ohio.
Oh, okay. Nice. So is that, I don't know, Ohio Hammer? Or not Ohio Hammer, Saga Ohio? The army you were talking about?
Yep, that's what we talked about when they interviewed me over there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so if people get their fill of the Irish, or haven't gotten their fill after this video, they can head on over there, listen to that.
Yeah, you can get double my my take on the Irish.
Yeah, corroborate everything said here. So, yeah, Irish, great faction. Seems to attract a lot of newbies. This is one of always probably the one that's been requested the most, probably over the years. And we do have a local guy. I haven't played him for about probably 3 years with this Irish. Unfortunately, at Adepticon, I played the Irish, and I wish we could have recorded this beforehand because I forgot a lot of stuff about him, and I could have been forewarned about the abilities going in. So, but we're doing it now, and this is rounding out the Dark Ages, or Age of Vikings almost. I've got to record the Yams Vikings yet. I do have somebody on deck for that, so fingers crossed that happens. And at that point, I'll have every Age of Vikings faction completed. So
outstanding
as far as faction reviews go. So that's awesome. So do you like playing the Irish? What drew you to them?
I do like the Irish. I think I first was looking for just like a pure shooting faction. Because I had like Viking stuff for like a melee faction, and Normans for like a hybrid combined arms faction, and so then I went to the Irish for looking for like just shooty violence.
Yeah, well, they definitely have that. Probably one of the shootier, the shootiest faction in Age of Vikings.
Cat is on my computer. Hang on. The cat just walked across the keyboard.
Okay.
My video.
We're back. All right. Sounded like a baby or something there for a second.
But yeah, the cat didn't like being picked up.
Okay. Well, we're back. Irish shootiest faction, or
maybe? I think it'd be hard pressed to find one that's more shooty. I've never played using the Breton board, where so that would be all kind of shooty, but I don't know if they'd still hold up to the Irish.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like there's quite a few abilities here driving you towards those sharp, pointy sticks, or don't.
Those javelins are real good. Real good.
The rocks. Don't forget about the rocks either. Yeah, they'll do some damage. All right. Cool. So why don't we get the factions equipment options sorted out here. So at first glance seems pretty straightforward, but it's going to get a little more complicated. Irish Warlord and his Hearthguards can either be equipped with javelins, heavy weapons, or horses, and each unit may only choose one option. So you cannot be mounted with javelins is probably the key takeaway there.
Not unless you're playing Age of Invasions now.
Yeah, there's those guys use the Irish board, one of those factions, and they can get some mounted javelins, so that's cool. Mm-hmm. Irish warriors equipped with javelins, and the levies equipped with either slings or javelins. Mm-hmm. So how do you like to run your Warlord and or Hearthguards?
For the longest time, I looked entirely at doing them just with javelins because it seemed like, okay, extra shooting, particularly with those, all of them having determination, all those free shots. I didn't want to miss them out. But then I finally started running them mounted on horses, And I found I really started to like that an awful lot for just an option for just the mobility to go out and attack objectives and just go get stuff done. Because while shooting dice are good, melee dice, get stuff done a little bit better because you get more dice per model, and the save's not as good. So I kind of started running them on horses. I just didn't have the models painted for the longest time. I just finally got around to it recently, and I kind of go back and forth both. Both have their uses.
Okay, yeah, I think especially if you're running the levies, warriors, they're bringing all the shooting. Just having something that can dish out the damage is valuable.
Yep.
So for levies, are you liking slings or javelins? Are you taking some levies?
Lately I've been running 2 points of levies, and I'm doing them both with javelins. Both with slings.
Okay.
Yep, I like the extra reach. If I'm doing for javelins, the warriors I think do just fine, but that extra reach is real nice because I want to be able to engage them and force them to come to me.
Yeah, when you're hunkered down in the timbers or rocky ground, gotta have that reach.
Yeah. If I can force the engagement without having to leave my rough ground, it works out real nice for me.
Absolutely. So that's not the only option. So we also have the Kure. How do you pronounce that word?
I don't know. I just say Kurad because that's kind of how it's spelled, but I'm certain that's wrong.
Okay. I know, but at Adepticon,
I just call him Heroes.
Yeah, Sean Moomy told me the correct pronunciation, but I don't remember if I thought it was Kure before and he corrected me and I forgot, or if I thought it was something else. And so, Kure is what I'm going with for this here. So these are mini warlords, essentially. They're pretty cool. No, it's a shame.
Nobody else gets them.
Nobody gets them. So they're 2 for 1 point, and you could also drop 2 Hearthguard to get one, kind of like a half-point option. And they're worth 2 victory points instead of 4 for the normal hero. They don't generate any Saga dice. They're armor 5, aggression 4, 2 for shooting. Same equipment as the Warlord, always. So kind of some nuance there. It'd probably be nice to mix it up if you could, but
yes.
You're kind of restricted in that way. They have the champion rule. Nobody can charge a Warlord if they could charge the Kure. And then they have determination and resilience 1. So pretty nice little self-sufficient package here. They're not generating Saga die, but they have determination to activate themselves. And then we're going to see there's an ability on the battle board that the more heroes you have, the better it gets. Maybe more than one. But so when I was playing Sean, he only took one of these guys, and then he had like a 6-pack of Hearthguard.
Really?
So
okay.
Everybody else I've seen has taken 2, like always.
I don't see any reason not to take 2. Yeah, they're great. They're great. You don't really lose anything because they still have the same punch as those 2 Hearthguard. Either way, I mean, and it boosts some of your other abilities. They got all that extra good stuff. I always take 2.
Okay. Yeah. From what I've seen, most people generally always take the 2. There's not a lot to dislike about these guys. So, yeah. I think that when you're thinking about the battle board abilities, you're probably thinking about having at least 1 or 2 of these guys. The other special unit, as if that wasn't enough, we've got the wolf hounds here. They have to be mentioned. Unit of up to 8 warriors can be upgraded, so to speak, into the wolf hounds. Their armor's 4 in melee, 3 against shooting. They're considered on foot, and they have a charge distance of long instead of medium. They still move medium, presumably. And then uneven terrain doesn't affect the movement or charges. The only fact clarification for the Irish out there really is that a dangerous terrain would still reduce the dogs, but it's just uneven terrain. So these, from what I can tell, are generally not seen too favorably. Our local guy will take them for fun. That seems to be the general trend. If they're not auto include by any stretch. How have you fared with them? Do you have any models? Have you run them? Tried them?
I do. I got the footsore models, and I got them painted up, and I ran them, and I was kind of underwhelmed. I don't really feel like the board really supported them that well. Maybe situationally based on the scenario, where if I knew I was going to have to go into rough ground to dig out the enemy, sure, maybe then I'd throw them in. But like for an all comers, all scenarios type situation, I'm not a fan.
Probably not. Yeah, but
I miss the javelins.
Yeah, no shooting. Weak against shooting. Nobody's got armor 3 against shooting except the levies anymore. You probably, if you see a scenario in a tournament pack, it sees that you're going to have to go into some uneven ground to get an objective or something, maybe that would entice you. But from what I can tell, from what you're telling me, probably generally not taken. But they seem
fun.
Fine.
They're cool, but you can pass.
All right. Let's jump on to the battle board then. So up top, I believe everything is the same up there. Is that correct? Your standard stuff?
Yep. Standard array.
Okay. Why don't we get into Sons of Dana? This is common. Is the snake the common here?
Yep.
These guys. This is an activation reaction, and I'll let you explain how this works. There's a lot of text on this one.
You want me to just read this one or just explain it?
I've got the picture up, so maybe you want to explain how it works for you.
So you pop this one after an enemy movement. When they end within short of an area of uneven terrain, you get 4 attack dice. Like you got some guys hidden in there throwing sticks and rocks and things like that. The potato throwers is what potatoes
they're called around here.
Yep. And 4 attack dice, that's not bad for a single common die. And you're not going to be generating fatigue because it's not actually coming from any unit. The important bits there to remember are, though, it's uneven terrain, like you mentioned. They are clear that dangerous terrain is not also uneven terrain. It shares a lot of the same rules, but like you couldn't do this from a swamp, for example. I use this a lot early on in the game, almost more, I think, it almost seems like it's better for controlling my enemy's movements. Like I think they give it too much respect sometimes, and it'll really keep them like away from terrain entirely because they're so scared of just these 4 shooting dice, which 4 shooting dice isn't going to get that much done. But I don't know, they seem to totally avoid it, which is nice because I don't want them in terrain because I don't want to face a 3+ save. So cool. And it's also it doesn't apply to charges because it's only moves.
Yes, so that is.
Later in game, it becomes less useful.
Yeah, there's some nuance there, especially for newer Irish players. I've had to call them out. Well, it just says movement here, so when I charged you there, I'm afraid you won't get to trigger it. But this is good. Yeah, so no saga abilities can be triggered, which is great because no defensive abilities can be triggered either. So if you're catching that Hearthguard out, a lot of boards have something that they can just put down for shooting defense and won't get to pop it against this one here. And yeah, it's definitely one of those that, and I've been guilty of this too, keeping every unit more than short, micromillimeter away, whether it makes sense or not, just to avoid the attack. So getting all that kind of battlefield manipulation for a common die is pretty good, pretty nasty.
Yeah, it has surprisingly good like psychological effect on my opponent, it seems. Maybe more than it should. And that's fine with me. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to plunk that die there and leave it there for a while, as long as it keeps them moving maybe a little out of the straightest way to get my guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing that's cool, 4 attack dice for shooting is pretty good at the end of the game, too, when units have been depleted, knocked down. Yeah. Do you find it's it's useful at the end of the game. Any stories? Anything bagged? Big targets?
I don't feel like I've ever got. I honestly haven't gotten that many kills out of this thing, honestly, for the most part. I think maybe if I was cagier at the end and like did some sort of like retreat into rough ground, maybe then it would be more useful at the end of the game. But I don't know. But then I think I'm just usually just punching it out, or just I'm getting as many shots off as I can.
Yeah, you're using every dice for activations and slugging it out, so that makes sense. All right, cool. Well, let's pop down to Heirs of Mill. This is an orders reaction. Choose one of your units located entirely within an area of uneven terrain until the start of your next turn. No enemy unit can target it with a shooting attack or a charge unless they're within very short. So this will allow you to kind of hang out on the edges there, you know, a little safer than you would be otherwise. So this can turn one activation to get into you into two activations. If it was two, might require three. This is an uncommon die. I guess, how does this figure into your game plan? Is this icing on the cake, or is this like a key part of your strategy?
I think you summed it up well. Basically, it's kind of something, if the situation works out where you're going to be able to force another activation out of your opponent to you guys, then it's worth it. But there's also a lot of other good stuff on here for uncommon dice, so I don't use this one all that often.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of situational. If you're doing the turtling, the Irish turtling, this can really slow it down. But if you're out there taking your shots, probably going to use your dice somewhere else. So, all right, cool. That makes sense. Let's head down to the old way. All right, this is an uncommon or a rare activation ability, and you can activate as many units as you have heroes in your warband. Only units with a melee armor of 3 or less may be activated. Sorry, dogs. Just another hit against the dogs right here. They should have made an exception for them. If you used a rare, the first of these activations will not generate any fatigue. So this, I believe, is the bread and butter of the board. One of them.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So multiple activations with shooting is just really strong in Saga in general, because there's not usually boards will have like one shooting reaction ability. So when you're getting when you got shooting just coming from lots of different directions, it gets through much better that way. So this is why I think you always want to have those 2 cure odds, so you can maximize use out of this, and then just really start piling the dice on.
So this will activate the levy slingers, the javelin warriors.
Yep, that's why I run 2 points of levies, because this gets me easy activations for them with a common die.
Fortunately, not the dogs. For your warriors, how are you running those guys? How many points? Just 2 points?
I'm running 2 points of levy, 3 points of warrior, 1 point of curad. I'm not running any Hearthguard currently, because I've been finding that as long as I'm careful with my warlord and the curad, it's okay. And I run one of the curad with the warlord and kind of rely on that champion ability to have him give the warlord a little breathing room. Yeah,
absolutely. That's a cool way to run it. Yeah, a lot of times, people don't run any Hearthguards, and then there's always that run that can take down the warlord. So at least having the Kure there can mix it up, kind of slow that down. So I like that. So are you running the warriors in 8-man packs, mixing it up?
I think I run like a 9, 7, 8 sometimes.
Get the extra shot out of there. 7, 7, 9.
Yep. Oh yeah, I'll be a little dirty. I'll be dirty.
Yeah, baby.
I'll squeeze that extra die out of there.
That's how we do it. I like it. So you got plenty of units that can be generated by this. Very nice. I mean, otherwise activating levy, it's costly. Uncommon or rare, this, at least you're activating 2 plus another unit, for that same uncommon. So the elk there, are you ever using that here, or do we got to put that somewhere else?
I use it there sometimes at least. When I'm just looking to do tons and tons of activations, particularly like on like a levy unit, sometimes I'll throw that on there first. Or if I have to like move them up first to get them in range, sometimes I'll start off with that elk so that they don't eat the fatigue quite as fast.
Okay. Are we gonna see any other abilities here that will get rid of fatigue for the Irish? Do they have any plays like that?
Fatigue removal is not a super easy thing for the Irish, unfortunately.
Okay. So yeah, I guess using the elk there, we'll keep it off as long as possible.
Yep.
If you're doing the multiple shots.
Yep. But, you pop this ability. That's 3 activations. You've got your Warlords activation, his determination. You've got your 2 Kurod's determinations. You've got like 7 activations right there. You spent one. It's kind of gross.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It's real good. Mm-hmm. And if those are all javelins and they're all generating like shooting dice, it's a lot.
It might be. Yeah, it may very well be. All right. Well, let's pop up and check out one of the shooting saga abilities. This is a uncommon or a rare. Fearbulg, gain 3 attack dice, and if you use that elk, each attack die which scores 6 or more inflicts an additional automatic hit. And the keyword is a 6 or more. I believe there is an ability, maybe the next one down gives you a +1 perhaps.
Oh yeah.
So no crossbows, but they got a way to get a +1. So pretty.
When you got seed, you don't need crossbows. We'll get to that.
Pretty nice ability here. So probably one that is used every turn, or nay.
No, Fearbulg is a great use of a common die at the very least. If you are popping seed, as we'll get to it, so, in that case, the elk is pretty darn good, doubling your hits. Because as we're going to get to in a second, seed might give you a +1 on all of your shooting against this unit. And all your 5s and 6s are getting doubled, you get a lot of mileage out of that. Okay. A lot of mileage out of that.
Yeah, well, let's pop down to seed then real quick, and then we can kind of talk about them together. Yeah. That was when you see one, you're probably going to see the other, it seems. So this one is also uncommon, rare. Discard all your attack dice till the end of the turn. All attack dice rolled against them, the target, get a bonus of +1. So your Curé goes up. He discards his two shots and drops the flare or the laser beacon on the enemy
target,
unit there.
As I say. Yep.
And so that seems to be the decent combo there. So for Fearbulg, would you use the rare on there even without the seed?
Without seed on there?
If you didn't have it, you needed dice for somewhere else, would you?
I would be unlikely without using seed to market the target first. I probably wouldn't use the stag on Fearbulg. I'd either throw in the activation pool or just do in old ways that wouldn't generate fatigue or something like that. Would be more likely. But yeah, once a unit has that +1 marked on it, they're doomed with all the activations that might be coming their way.
Yeah, if multiple units can fire upon it, it gets pretty nasty pretty quick. I mean, if you just combo with Fearbulg, if you're thinking 6 shots from the levy, it goes to 9. A third of those with a +1 are going to generate the additional hit.
Yeah.
So best case, if you're armor 5, it's going to be six hits against you, 3 rolled, and then 3 automatics.
Sometimes when I'm doing this, I'll even throw it in the combat bonus just for an extra die.
Ooh, just on top, yeah.
When I get that +1 and my 6s are doubled, that's one of the times combat bonus I don't think is even bad. Kind of just load it up.
It's pretty tasty there. I like it.
And this is also kind of the reason I really like using 2 units of levy, because it gives me that extra range, and it often forces my opponent. They get frustrated. They start trying to rush a single unit across at a time to do damage, and then it just plays into my hand of marking the target, destroy it. Another unit comes across, mark it, destroy it. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, so in Saga, many factions can have shooting units. many factions got multiple shooting units, but these direct shooting improvements are kind of rare inside. There's not a lot of boards that do that. So if your opponent is new to Irish, they might be kind of coming at you. But then once this combination pops through, this is going to cause some uneasy feelings. Oh, how much damage? You just wipe those guys? Oh, okay. I need to scramble here, which oftentimes isn't much help either. Like you said, they start rushing things and kind of catch them out piecemeal. And definitely a challenge to play against. And, even if you're cagey, it only takes one volley with these two abilities to really cause some damage. So,
yeah, some firepower there.
Definitely tough to play around. So, all right, let's head down to just another nasty little abilities here. Yeah.
And one more thing about seeds, because sometimes when I do like to run my Warlord and my Curads mounted, that's one time I will take just like sometimes a unit of 4 warriors to just hang out kind of a little bit back, and then they'll be the ones who will move forward and do the seed. So I'm only throwing away those 2 dice.
Yeah. And the other thing too, once in my game against Sean, once a unit takes some damage, he was down to 3 warriors, that's the unit, Yeah, there's going to be, once the battle's engaged, there's going to be a few units sitting around that are below strength, and they'll mark it for their buddies who are full strength. All right, Will of the Banshee here. So this one is melee or shooting reaction for a common. Gain 2 defense dice, and each of your defense dice gain a bonus equal to the number of fatigue tokens the enemy unit has. So a 2 quick read of that would make you think you get more defense dice if your opponent has fatigue. However, it's adding to the number on your defense dice. So if your opponent has 2 fatigues, you're adding 2 to your defense dice. So you're blocking on 3s essentially, and you have a couple extra here. So this is one of the probably, I can't think of many abilities that I would rather have than this one here. Especially when you're in the woods, it's going to take multiple activations to get to you.
They're getting frustrated. They're doing multiple activations to charge you because they don't want to get hit with all those slings. Yeah,
I mean, almost any with this up, and if they have 1 or 2 fatigue, forbid the 3 fatigues, exhausted coming at you, you can take any assault, and this one might be good for taking that big 6-pack of Hearthguard, because once they're exhausted, that's the time to send in your Hearthguard, and blocking all those hits on 2s. Could be good here. So you might think this is a purely defensive ability, but do you like to go on the attack with this one, or is this always just sitting on your board waiting for your enemy?
Mostly it's sitting on my board waiting for them to come charge across me while I'm just pelting them with slingshots. And then if I'm also managing to still hug into my my ruins or my rocky ground, even better. Save gets so good. Yeah,
if you block on 4s +1, 3, 2. Yeah, there isn't a lot of. I mean, the Vikings could throw everything they have at this and still not really do anything. This is really basically shutting down almost any attack. Requiring your opponent to do 2 attacks. Yeah, not everybody has resources to do that. So. This definitely plays right into the Irish plan here. Very good ability.
Yep. I think I bounced an 8-man Hearthguard unit because my slingers were in rough ground with this, and they had a fatigue or 2. And I took almost no casualties, and then they probably took 1, maybe 2. So it was fantastic. And it's a common die. Common,
yeah. You're not even...
So good.
A lot of that other stuff was, uncommons, so you're going to have that common die available, ready to go, and this is where it'll go. Not too shabby. All right. Up top, Moment of Truth. So this one is a rare melee or shooting reaction. The SAGA ability step of this melee or shooting ends immediately. So, what do you think of this one? How often are you sneaking it in?
I think it's pretty situational, but it's potentially very powerful. If for some reason, the scenario is going to require you where you're going to have to attack the enemy and take an objective, and they're loading up defensive abilities, this just can shut that down. Mm-hmm. We had a little conversation about Scots earlier and how they can be a real pain in the butt.
That was
it's useful against Scots, maybe.
This is the ability that I think they used originally to take Scotland. In the early times.
Scotty, yeah.
So definitely against the Scots, gold, money. There's a lot of factions here that have some very strong defensive ability. Playing other Irish player, you cancel, stop the defense before it happens. You can also kind of, a lot of factions, Norse-Gales, Vikings require a chain of melee abilities to really maximize. So you just kind of, you can do the first one. I'm going to stop this second and third one, and the Norse-Gales in particular, the effectiveness of those go way down when you can't combine them. So for the rare here, is there another spot? Where does the rare go if the first
for me,
one?
It's more likely to go on Fearbolg or the old way.
Okay.
I really like doubling those 6s on Fearbolg. Mm-hmm. Or just getting an extra activation on my levy that's not getting fatigue. I find that tend to be more useful. But you're right. This can really blunt an attack from the enemy or nullify their defensive abilities. It's just, I don't know. It's less likely going to be part of my plan.
Yeah, well, it's definitely turn 2 and 3 not likely going to come up. It's going to melee against the Irish takes a little longer than against some other factions, so you got to wait before you can use it. So makes sense. Doesn't see as much use as those other ones. All right. Spirits of the Land, melee or shooting reaction. This is a common or uncommon. If your unit is located entirely within an area of uneven terrain, each of your defense dice get a +1 bonus. Hey, what? We already talked about this ability. What's going on?
Huh. Could these chain well together? I think they could.
Yeah, seems like it would. It seems like you could blunt 2 attacks equally well. This one is a common or uncommon. I guess, so you got the common. Which one goes first?
I think I tend to go Wail of the Banshee first over Spirits of the Land. Wail of the Banshee is just more flexible because you don't even have to be in that rough ground, so you can kind of use it anywhere, which is nice. But so Wail of the Banshee tends to see more use than Spirits of the Land. But if I can get them both, that's great.
Yeah. Will you typically do both at the same time?
If I can, yeah.
Okay.
If I'm doing a good job of baiting him into attacking me, and if I can bait him into attacking me or I'm in my rough ground, I've got Spirits of the Land up for a +1 bonus. So hopefully I'm already in heavy cover, saving on 4s, Spirits of the Land on 3s. He's got at least 1 fatigue coming in there.
Yeah.
I'm saving on 2s.
Yeah.
And I have 2 bonus defense dice. Yes.
That's good.
This is going to work.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. I like it. Oh yeah. Can't complain about this. I guess, how vulnerable are the Irish to shooting? Would you say? Do you have a problem with other shooting factions? I think this one's a shooting reaction. Is Whale?
They're both shooting reactions.
They're both shooting reactions. Okay, so you have two nice defensive shooting abilities.
Yeah. So it's not bad. They're pretty solid, actually, in my opinion, against other shooting factions. I'll admit, my local meta, I don't have a lot of guys I play here, and they don't seem to lean towards shooting factions. So I don't have tons of experience with guys trying to just shoot me off the board. But my thought is, if people want to shoot with me, I'm okay with that, because all my stuff is still armor 4 against against shooting. I'm
Warriors,
not weaker against shooting, and I've got great firepower. So if you want a missile duel, let's do it, buddy.
Yeah, I can't think of a faction that could go toe to toe necessarily. Especially when you're thinking the levies are in terrain, you can basically absorb 2 volleys scot free, and then it has to be their third one before they can even start doing any damage, really. If you have these 2 defensive abilities up, I can definitely see that. Let's move down. We're almost done here. 2 more to go. These are the fun ones here. If you're running the heroes, I always like abilities that can be used with the Warlord. To be aggressive with the Warlord, I have a problem, Andrew, and that's throwing the Warlord in probably when we shouldn't. So having a couple abilities here is useful. So this is a 2-die, common, uncommon, orders. Hero till the start of your next turn. All your heroes with resilience 1 become resilience 2. So that is pretty nice. But I think you got to have a plan in mind, right? Before you're popping this one. What is the plan? What does the battlefield look like when Blood of Kings comes out?
Yeah, it's certainly not like an every turn thing. I often kind of will use this maybe sometimes on like turn 1 when we're still kind of moving towards each other and feeling each other out. When I don't really have enough activations to bring my guys in range where I want them to be, I will lead with, particularly if I'm running them mounted, I'll send a Warlord and the Kurod up to be bait, basically. With this, be like, come on, I got resilience too. Let's do this. So that maybe can bring them forward, and then hopefully, if they do take the bait, attack me, I think I can probably survive that. Maybe I'll lose a Kurod, but usually I don't. And then I've got something in range that I can just do the swarm, the old way swarm. Get them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, depending on the scenario, the limitations, some's 3 dice, some you can't shoot, charge. Sometimes you just got dice. I'm not going to go over there and fight. I might as well just pop this. I'm a little safer, see if I can't get something happening here. So, yeah, that's cool.
I mean, sometimes I'll use it also like later in the game when I'm just like wanting to clean stuff up and use my Warlord and Kurod aggressively. Or if the game's gone bad for me and I don't have much left other than those guys, and if I get the right dice, I can get surprising amount of work out of them to kind of hopefully bring me back in line.
Yeah, at the end of the game, 4 attacks from those coup, right? It's nothing to sneeze at.
Significant, yeah. And then when when you're canceling stuff out with resilience near the end of the game, they don't have as much chance to, take advantage of all that stuff, and hopefully you're picking up free points that you just can't. You're canceling all the casualties against you.
Yeah,
it's good.
Less chance. The way to get through resilience is just multiple activations, but at the end of the game, there's not a lot of Saga dice out there to be used for that purpose. So just having this up, it's 2 dice, but I mean, when you think about abilities, this is till the start of your next turn. It's not even orders or orders reaction. It's all heroes. You don't even have to select just one. So 2 dice, but definitely getting your value out of it. And compared to Ireland's Heart, the other 2 die up here, 2 chickens, 2 uncommons. This is a melee ability for heroes. Inflict 2 automatic hits. And then the first use of resilience by the hero during this melee does not inflict a fatigue on him. So when are you popping this bad boy? Another 2 dice here. So,
For me, it sees a lot less use than Blood of Kings. It's more costly, and I do find like I need those uncommon dice other places. And it feels like, in a way, it's not as useful as Blood of Kings. I prefer the resilience too, but there have been times where I've combined both of these on a turn even to really just do a lot with my heroes because it's cool and fun. But it's I find it less optimal than Blood of Kings, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Blood of Kings too, it might depend if you roll a couple of elks and you can just pop that and recycle them back into it. That's an excellent point. So you're not committing to, at least a quarter, or at the end of the game, half your saga dice to one particular ability. You can just recycle it through. 2 auto hits is awesome, in the right circumstance. When you're exhausted, they're coming in, I'm still getting 2 hits through no matter what. And can absorb 1 extra hit on top of it. So I like everything I've seen so far. We saw one, or I wouldn't even say they're duds. I mean, they just don't come up as, there's so many other good abilities. You're not using the you can't move within very short, or you are stopping the saga combat. So we've seen all the abilities here. I guess terrain is very important for the Irish here. So what do you, against most opponents, you must have some kind of, do you have a default kind of terrain plan, or what are you doing here? Where's it going?
I'm not too technical, honestly, with the terrain.
Okay.
Almost my default almost always for every faction is I'm starting off with typically the ruins or the rocky ground, simply because I find that's the most powerful stuff right there. You get that. I want that hardcover for me. Mm-hmm. I want that on the board on my side if I can. So I put that typically maybe somewhat near the center, maybe one move, so I can maybe move 1 move up towards my enemy, out of my deployment zone. So there's nothing sticking out, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And still fire from the rough ground. And then after that, it's just place as many woods and things as I get on there.
Get the big woods, the big fields. Do you go for the big ones or the small ones?
I tend to go big and try and just clog up things as much as I can, wherever I think the avenues are going to be.
Okay.
I guess my only concern is sometimes I don't want them moving into it, but if I can just kind of channel them towards me and shoot them up.
Yeah. So the steep hill, do you ever use the steep hill?
I don't, but that's because I don't own a steep hill.
Dude, you got to get a steep hill, man.
I got to get a steep hill.
It's uneven, but when there's no defense. So, come on into the hill with me, my friend. I will still
make an excellent point. I got to get more gaming with this. There we go.
Yeah, pagan peoples. It kind of depends.
You just upped my Irish game.
If they got shooting, then you're like, well, okay, I'll take the field. But, half the factions are foot slogger, whatever. And that steep hill is a nice little piece. I think you'll enjoy that, Andrew. Okay. Get on it.
All right. My friends are going to be really thankful that you just
apologize to the Quad Cities gang. Sorry, Don and Andrew Gustafson. Okay. So how do you get into trouble with the Irish? When have you been beaten by the Irish? What went wrong?
Where have I gotten myself in trouble? Sometimes I've gotten myself in trouble because the heroes are so important to get to maximizing effectiveness with the old ways. I've gotten myself in trouble before by throwing them away kind of early and losing them, and the old ways really losing its effectiveness.
Sure.
Or there have been times where I've not just stuck to the plan and tried to focus fire stuff. Like I've like gotten so many activations that I end up attacking at multiple places down the line, and then I'm getting counterattacked with the javelin short range. Mm-hmm. If I've attacked multiple places with javelins and only got like 1 attack off, caused light casualties, then they're countercharging me in multiple places, and I'm getting hammered with my armor 3, and that's where I've messed up.
Mm-hmm. So with your javelins, will you typically move in, throw, and then spend a saga die to come back? So the battle board itself isn't necessarily encouraging you to do that. You kind of have to spend the dice to do it. Do you try to do that, or you just kind of leave them and let the defense abilities try to save you?
Well, that's where the double levy come in. I'm really not even I'm really just saving the javelins to swarm whatever comes to kill my levy.
Okay.
So I try and bounce them with my defensive abilities if they do come and charge my levy, and then I do the old ways swarm and maybe a seed and fearbolg, marked target thing against whatever enemy has come across at me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to do as much as possible, just one unit at a time. Well, you lose one die every turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that sounds good. Yeah. What have you tried out any mercs with these guys? Anything catching your fancy here?
I'll confess, locally we don't really play much with mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one or two times I brought mercenaries, my opponents have kind of scrunched their nose a little bit. So, so I was like, all right, I guess no mercenaries. So I haven't really dove too far into that. Plus, it seems a lot of tournaments don't really allow them anyways, and I do like to do some organized play stuff.
So, yeah, Adepticon has never been big on that.
Right.
Maybe different. Yeah, changes from year to year.
Yep.
Are you interested in Saga Storm this year? Did you see the announcement for that one?
I did. That's in September, right?
Yeah, you could take a mercenary there. I can't remember if it's a mandatory merc. Oh, it's a mandatory legendary warlord.
Right.
For that one.
I've definitely never played with legendary warlords, but
yeah,
Brian,
I haven't.
Brian Boru, I know he used to be really good.
I've heard things about Brian.
I'll bet he's still real good.
All right. I don't think we need to get into that here. If there's ever a part 2, we'll get into Brian. But
talk to me after Saga Storm. Maybe I'll tell you about Brian Boru.
They are specifically allowing a merc, which that crew, like I said, hasn't typically allowed it. So, off the top of my head, I don't know. The Irish kind of do their own thing, really. You need the point spent on the Kure, you need point spent on the levy. You ideally want the warriors because you can activate them with the old ways. You can't do that with mercenary. So it's not necessarily going to be a lot of synergy there.
I think I've played around with the idea of taking one of like the hero mercenaries in the past to maybe make the old ways even stronger.
Ooh, hey, yeah, there you go.
But there isn't. To some degree, though, that might be a trap, because an important thing to note, though, is because with the old ways, you have to have that many units to activate. And I've gotten into trouble
exactly, before. Yeah.
When I used to run a big unit of Hearthguard, sometimes I would get one of my units of warriors, or a levy beat up on turn 2 or something like that. And next thing I know, it's I can't use this anymore because I didn't have enough other units to activate.
Sure.
And then that took away the strength of the board a lot.
2 levies, 2 warriors. The warriors have been destroyed. The levies can't act. You need 3 levies. So, that could be a problem. Kind of problem you want to have, though, right?
Right. Yeah, I suppose. It's okay, I guess I got to throw away a hero. Oh, no.
Yeah, break them up into units of 6, 10.
That's true. That's true.
3 points of levy, 4 units of 9. Ooh. That could be interesting there.
Could be something there.
Especially if you have an extra hero out there. 4 activations for 1 uncommon. I'm liking it.
It might be worth a try.
Yeah, hopefully I won't run into you at Saga Storm. That faction. Yeah, I got to look and see what I want to take there. Some are quite good and tasty. Some are leave you scratching your head. Wondering why anyone would ever do that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. When you start adding in legendary heroes and mercenaries, I think the imbalance gets a little more. It's less balanced.
It's more rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Run into something. You just grind down, or you took that legendary warlord that does that. Ooh, that's going to be a problem for me.
Yeah.
What models are you using for your Irish?
I have a mixture of footsore and Crusader miniatures.
Okay, Crusader, cool.
I feel like they mix in actually really well.
Mm-hmm. Probably, I think the footsores are kind of small, people say. Is that right? So the Crusaders
maybe a little bit
are kind of along those same lines.
I'd say they're pretty similar. I mean, my paint style is a little primitive, a little clunky maybe. So it maybe helps blend everything together. I don't know.
Sure. Well,
but, I think they look nice together.
Yeah, Saga players don't care too much one way or the other. No complaints. All right. Well, I don't know. Do you have fun playing the Irish? Or
I do.
do your buddies? Do they have fun? Therein lies the rube.
Yeah. I don't know that they're their favorite faction to play, because sometimes they can take a beating. So
yeah,
it's a strong board. If I'm having a good day, they might not be having a good day.
Yeah, strong board, and then you look into scenarios to try and balance things. I think the Irish actually can do pretty well in most scenarios, so that's not necessarily swinging it in your favor the way
Yeah, you
you're
throw
playing like
objectives
all mounted Normans. Okay, let's play objective scenario, and that'll be a little different. But the Irish, anybody who's on foot with mobility, you got some activation efficiency there. That's generally good for scenarios and objectives, and the Irish got it. And once they grab them, they can definitely hold them with a few of those abilities there. So, yeah, I think if you play the Irish, you kind of, and your buddies are maybe sick of it, just kind of play a little fast, a little loose, bring out those dogs, have a little fun. Let them kill the dogs. Andrew, let them kill the dogs, okay?
I'll consider it.
Okay.
I'm an animal lover, though. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that has been great talking to you. Very insightful. Learned a lot. Learned to fear the Irish. Definitely, I'm kind of intrigued now. My little barefoot guys in tunics should paint up pretty quick, right?
Yeah, you already got some javelin dudes from your Norse Scales?
I do. I got a ton of javelin guys. So
halfway there.
I'm halfway there. I just need to get slingers. 24 slingers though. It's a pretty tall order for me. It's probably going to take a year and a half.
They're all done. Just dudes in potato sacks though. They paint up so fast. Like I literally painted up my second point in a day last time. Like I said, a basic painting style, but still.
Okay. Well, I did just crack open some contrast paints for the first time, and I'm liking what I'm seeing here from the speed angle. So definitely the kind of 3-color minimum looks pretty good, pretty quick with the contrast. So you never know. What are you working on next? Do you have something on the painting table? Are you always working on something, or are you kind of a sporadic gamer?
I'm a little sporadic as far as actually getting the painting done. I'm always planning another project, of course.
Oh, yeah. 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
There's always a hierarchy of which one is going to get done first.
Yeah, right now I just assembled a Carthaginian. I got like the Victrix.
Oh,
they had something called like Warriors of Carthage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Warriors of Carthage, I think it was. It had basically enough for me to get exactly the 6 points I wanted for a Carthaginian force for like $34 or whatever. So.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Good price on that. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are. I was hearing some of the other guys are doing Hannibal stuff too. Ancients,
just starting to. We haven't. We're going to be dipping our toe into it. I think this coming Wednesday we're going to be getting our first game of that.
Okay.
I'm going to be facing a guy running Greeks.
Awesome. That's cool to hear. Yeah, we haven't really gotten big into it. I know the Twin Cities; those guys dabbled.
Yeah.
Where I am in Wisconsin. Hasn't really taken root, but Alexander's coming out later this year, so we are going to take a look at it then, I hope. I got a feeling there'll be some Hannibal forces at Adepticon next year. Just got a feeling.
Very cool.
Yeah, so one thing, which we forgot to talk about last time, but you actually have a Saga YouTube channel that people may have stumbled across, technically speaking.
Yeah, it's kind of dormant.
It's dormant. It's hibernation here, but I think it's called like Wargaming Saga. Is that it? Okay.
Yep, that's me. You might recognize my voice if you've ever watched any of those videos. Okay. Quick and dirty battle reports.
Yeah, just quick and dirty, probably 10, 15 minutes at most.
yeah, knock them out pretty fast.
So yeah, and check them out. You know, if you haven't seen them yet, you know, there's not that quite that much Saga content out there. So just having some more stuff to go through is well worth it. And yeah, maybe you'll fire it up again at some point here. You never know, but
maybe I'll feel the inspiration again.
Yeah, feel the burn. Awesome. Well, thank you, Andrew, for coming on, talking Irish with me. I really appreciate it. And I think your perspective is very valuable here, and folks learned a lot. It's going to be a lot of people grabbing those War Games Atlantic Irish or the new Gripping Beast sets.
Yeah, those are cool.
Sure, it's going to be a run on them. I might be getting some myself. Who knows? But yeah, thanks for coming on. Like I said, people are attracted to the Irish faction as newbies, and I'm glad that I finally am able to get out a faction review video for those folks. And hopefully we'll see you on here again sometime.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you at the events, I'm sure, in the Midwest here. Getting pretty excited about the number of events and the people showing up at all of these. So yeah, looking forward. Hopefully I'll see you at Saga Storm, perhaps, if not before.
Perhaps.
All right, cool. Well, thanks again, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll see you again sometime. Bye.
Bye-bye. Saga! If you'd like to see more Saga content, consider joining the Heathen Army over on Patreon or popping on down to the Saga Thursday Discord server. Links below. Thanks, guys.